Good news, Orange County. Housing inventory is going up. So I'm Dean Odell with 7 Gables Real Estate in the Odell Group. It is time to take another look at the Orange County housing market. So we're going to start with all the Orange County charts first, and then we are going to move to the 3 zip codes in Tustin because we do that on a monthly basis and it is time to do it. So let's start right now. Okay, so we're starting with the Orange County active listing inventory chart. You could see where we are today, 2,084 homes, which is up from 2 weeks ago when it was 1,992. And last year we were at 2,168. Still way off of that 3-year average of 5,286. If you look at the chart, we are the purple line, and you can see how the inventory is slowly rising, which is much more like the orange line from 2022. And thank goodness it is not the blue line or the red line from 2021 and 23, right? So, and then if you look at that green line, that is the 3-year average from 2017 to 2019. Let's hope that our next Tustin Talks, we continue to keep like this orange line and we start going up vertically like that. That's what we really need. Okay, now this is an interesting chart because it is a special chart to show you guys what the Orange County inventory change has looked like year over year. What we're looking at now is where were we at the start of January, year by year. It's almost easier to start from the bottom and go up, I think, because you're going from older to newest. So if you do that, you'll see we're at 4,665 homes as a 3-year average prior to COVID. And then we start going up, and you can see we're still better off than 2022, which only had 1,100 homes to start January. Now we have 1,785, but still less than 2023, where we had 2,530. So looking at the inventory change in 2024 since the beginning of the year, you can see we now have almost 300 more homes on the market, where last year, if you look at 2023, we had 362 less. So kind of following a different pattern, more like the 2022 pattern, which we're not there at 456 more homes since the beginning of the year. I wish we were, but we're still way better off than 2023, and we're still way better off than 2021. Now, if we look at that 3-year average number, that would be nice. We'd be up 621 homes since the beginning of the year. And you can see the percent changes next to that accordingly with those numbers. And then if you look at that very last column, what you're going to see is that we have had almost 4,000 homes hit the market this year versus in 2023, we had 3,460. So we're up quite a bit since last year. If you look at 2022, of course, we're down again. That would be nice to get back to those levels. And 2021, look at all the houses that came on the market. And then look at the 3-year average of 6,186 prior to COVID. So you can see that we're still down over 2,000 homes versus the normal pre-COVID levels. So we still have a ways to go, but we're headed in the right direction as long as inventory continues to come to market. So moving to the next chart. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting chart because we can see where demand is today, 1,538. 2 weeks ago, it was at 1,476. Last year, 1,567. So we're almost the same as last year. And the 3-year average prior to COVID was 2,517. So think about that. We have about 1,000 less sales over the last 30-day period as pre-COVID, but we have so many less homes on the market like we talked about, right? So still a lot of sales going on for what's happened in the marketplace relative, especially to this low inventory. Looking at the colored lines, what you're gonna see is the purple line is 2024. Take a look at the angle there. A little bit flatter of an angle on demand, not quite as straight up as the prior years. That probably has something to do with interest rates and lack of inventory, right? But we've had lack of inventory before where we started real low in prior years, and you could still see it was a very vertical upshoot. So we're gonna keep our eyes on that purple line for demand and see where that thing peaks, if it continues to go, or if it continues to flatten out. Well, this is Orange County expected marketing time, and you can see that by all accounts, we are pretty much in a hot seller's market. Today we've got 41 days, 2 weeks ago 40, last year 42. So it's looking a lot similar to last year in terms of speed of the market right now. And in pre-COVID years, you can see it was a little bit slower at 63, but anything under 60 is considered a hot seller's market, right? So it has been a strong seller's market for a long time, and it continues to be. Now we're going to move to how we look at that speed of the market by price range. So when you look at that, what you'll see is up to about $2 million, we have a hot seller's market. You can see the marketing time this year versus last year. A lot of those numbers are pretty similar until you start getting to that, 1.5 to 2 million range, which is actually sped up a little bit. And so has the $2 to $4 million range, a little bit faster than last year. But even so, you go to, 4 to 6 million's a little sped up as well, isn't it, at 118 days? And so the only thing that's really slower is that over $6 million market. And you can see what kind of markets we're in by price range. Okay, so it is time to look at the Tustin data now. You're only going to find this here on our web series. We study these 3 zip codes quite extensively, and this is the data as of the end of February this year versus the end of February last year. Okay, so let's look at these 3 zip codes of 92705, 92780, and 92782, and let's see how they're looking compared to each other. Well, let's take a look at what's for sale. You can see that inventory is actually down in the 92705 zip code in February to February. You look at 92780, it was actually up, and exactly the opposite in the 92782 zip code. So either way, nothing dramatic going on there. Now we look at the new listings. How many new listings came up in February? Well, up in North Tustin, more listings coming. Then you look at 92780, less listings came up than last year. And then if you look at 92782, it was up quite a bit. So that was pretty good for those Tustin Ranch buyers and legacy buyers over there. On the sold side, you can see that 92705 was up just a little bit. 92780, they were up quite a bit. Man, they almost doubled, right? Or they did more than double. And same with 92782. So pretty interesting what's going on there. Very interesting when we move to pendings and look at what has happened in February in North Tustin. Just an absolute explosion over last year's number. I mean, we are up 210%, and you can see 92780 and 92782 what their percentages are. If you look at the months of inventory, that's what's kind of interesting. All of them are showing actually less months of inventory. And you say, well, what does months of inventory even mean? Well, if there's 10 houses for the month and 10 houses sell that month, then you take 10, you divide by 10, you get 1 month. Okay, so you see how that works, right? So what it shows is that February was a really strong month because the months of inventory actually went down. So interesting stat there. Active prices, we can see that has actually gone down in North Tustin just by a little bit. And in 92780, it's gone down quite a bit. And in 92782, it's pretty close to the same. 92780 is the only standout in that category. So looking at the average sold price, you can see that we are up in 92705, we are up in 92780, and we are up in 92782. Looking at the final list price to sold price, you can see that is stronger, not as much negotiating going on anymore. We're getting into that spring market. Everything's selling between 99 to 102% of the list price according to the zip code that it's in. Looking at the original list price, you can see how those numbers look. Average days on the market, again, that speed of the market, it's moving faster this year. So getting more inventory coming on in January and February like we talked about, and it's getting absorbed quicker. So demand numbers are still looking pretty decent for the amount of inventory we have on the market. Okay, so that wraps up that chart. If you need more time, just go ahead and pause it, take a good look at those numbers, and I'm going to move on to my advice for buyers and sellers. Okay, guys, well, welcome to the spring market. It's almost here. Got Easter right around the corner, right? So I wish I could give the buyers better news. Well, I actually can, right? I mean, we actually have more homes that came on the market. It might not feel that way, but it's actually happening. The numbers show it. So hang in there, buyers, and do not get FOMO, right? Don't just buy anything to buy something. Make sure it's the house you want to be in for a long time, okay? I would be looking at 5 to 10 year holds minimum at this point if I was buying, all right? So one more thing for you guys buyers. Stop trying to go direct to the listing agents. I am a listing agent. Stop going direct to the listing agents. Go get your buyer representation. There's 2 agents for a reason, okay? Don't try to have one agent be responsible for all your best interest and for the sellers. That is impossible. I don't care what anyone says, it can't happen, okay? Unless you're dealing with a very sophisticated buyer that's maybe, you know, a builder or somebody in the business and they absolutely know everything about buying and selling real estate because they've done it a zillion times. That's a little bit different, but that doesn't normally happen in a real estate transaction. So get your own representation. And you may be reading in the news, that's kind of the new thing in our industry. They're trying to separate this if they can. They do not want listing agents representing both buyers and sellers, and we haven't wanted to do it for years because 90% of the lawsuits are over that subject. Dual agency, one agent. Get yourself out of that situation. It's ridiculous, all right? Moving on. Okay, sellers, I'll tell you what, we've just been making people so much money this year. I can't even tell you. I know the buyers, I hope they're not listening anymore. No, actually, we are making sellers a lot of money. I would say probably at least double, maybe 3 to 4 times what we're spending to get these houses prepped and ready for the market. We do everything for you guys, completely hassle-free. You get all our years and years and years of experience, 3,000 transactions behind us. Check out our website, look at the testimonials, look at our before and afters. You could go to theodellgroup.com and take a look at that. And we are doing this all over Orange County right now, all kinds of different cities that we're doing this in. We have crews constantly running and we can help you out, so give us a call. And we will see you guys on the next Tustin Talks. Thanks for tuning in.